Hi guys! Welcome to, I think, my first speed paint video. Today what we're going to be doing is I generated a character description on a fantasy character description website, and I went with it. I ended up with something that I really like, and I hope you guys like it too. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Hope you guys enjoy! So we start out by rolling a d20. It's going to land on 14. So we're going to go back over here and we're going to hit generate female description 14 times. It's a lot. And we end up landing on this. Blonde, long wavy hair is pulled back to reveal a round, friendly face. Dancing aquamarine eyes, set lightly within their sockets, watch intently over the haven they've grown affectionate of for so long. A gunshot left a mark stretching from just under her right eye, running towards the tip of her nose, and ending on her right nostril, and leaves a satisfying memory of deceased love. I took that out. This is the face of Lelara Moonfall, a true friend among blood elves. She stands small among the others despite her skinny frame. There is something seductive about her. Perhaps it's a feeling of shame, or perhaps it's simply her reputation. But nonetheless, people tend to buy her a drink while making up bigger stories about her. So I think she's going to fit well with this kind of seductive pose that I've got going on right here. So I take the description, pop it in Krita as a reference image just so that I can go back to it as I need to. Make sure everything's lined up because I don't know, I have a symmetry thing, but now that I'm looking at it, it's not actually symmetrical. And we're going to get started. I started with the hair. I don't really know why, probably because it was the first thing listed in the description. Oh no, not the hair. I actually corrected the face because I had a more pointed face to start with when I did the outline of the pose and everything. So I wanted to make sure that I got her face rounded a little bit more because the description had it as a rounded face. So I kind of fixed the guidelines, chin line, ears, that kind of stuff before we got started with the hair. Make sure it sits right on the neck. Add in the hand line that the head was covering up. There's not really a method that I have when I draw. I just kind of go for it and do my best. I am not professionally trained. I didn't go to school or anything like that. I've always enjoyed drawing. So I'm very much self-taught. There are for sure areas where I could improve, probably quite many of them. But I always tell everybody, make the bad art, okay? If you don't make bad art, you're never going to get to the good art. And some people who have a better trained eye might look at my stuff and be like, oh my god, and just see nothing but flaws. But I can see a difference between my old art and what I'm doing these days. And I can definitely tell that I've improved a bunch in a lot of different areas. So, for sure, make the bad art. And eventually you'll have good art. So I'm going in with eyes here. Just some standard anime eyes. Little button nose. I did actually draw the nostril on this one. I don't usually draw the nostril on an anime face. And this is me just trying to figure out what kind of mouth I want. Looking up some reference images on the Google. If you don't know what you want to do, you just look up references. That's what I do. Just look up references, see what kind of direction you want to go in. I eventually found one that I liked. Popped that in there as a reference. Going with the one that's got the little sucker in it. I thought it would add to the friendly part of her description. I'm going to get that sketched out. Add the sucker stick in there. Plop that on her face. I wasn't really quite sure how I needed to do the mouth because the reference image didn't really have an outline for the outside of the lips. So I kind of just left the outline so that it would kind of remind me to go back later. and go in with some color instead of just the lines and everything. And when it said pulled back hair, with the reference being, or not the reference, the pose being like front on, I felt like pulled back, like in a ponytail kind of thing. That would really just leave room for bangs on the front, so I wasn't really happy with that. So I decided to go with pigtails pulled to the front. Here I am just adding the shirt lines. I went with like a sporty kind of tank top because I don't know, it just seemed friendly to me, just like a sporty little tank top situation. Actually, I think it might actually be like more of a very short sleeve with the arms up and everything, but that's what I went with. And here I am going in and finalizing the line art portion so that I can get rid of the sketch lines. Because sometimes the sketch lines, I need like to have them there, and then other times they get in my way. So I tried to finalize the line art like with the hard pressure lines before I kind of do most of the other stuff. But I keep it on a different layer. So like the sketch and then the line art are two different layers. But I never, until I'm done anyway, I don't get rid of the sketch. Like I don't delete the layer, but I just kind of hide it. Like I'll hit the little eyeball and make it invisible so that I can't see it unless I need to see it. And the program that I'm using for everything that I draw, this one included, is Krita. This is in no way sponsored, but I do enjoy Krita. It's 100% free. It's got some really great tools. You can get brushes for it. You can make brushes for it. A lot of creators have Krita paintbrush packs, and they're amazing. Again, not sponsored. I just really like Krita. Unless, you know, Krita. But I use brushes that came with Krita. I have a few brushes from a streamer that I really enjoy watching. I have some brushes from a few YouTubers that I really enjoy watching. If you just look around, you can find a lot of brushes that help. I really like this hairbrush, and I think this hairbrush actually came with Krita. But I do have a few others that I like to use. What am I doing here? What do we got? Okay, we're gonna line out the eyes. I never really know what to say when I'm doing these voiceovers. It's still kind of new to me. You know. So what are some things that you guys like, what do you want to listen to on one of these speed paints? Let me know in the comments. Do you just want some cool music? You want like story or some stuff? I never know what to do. And I can talk, okay? So, we'll just talk. This is me setting her eyes. Said that it was set lightly, so I didn't want to make it too deep set, but I did want to add some lines in there just to indicate that they are set a little bit into her sockets. Just a little bit, which is something I've never done, and looking at it now, I think what I need to do is actually, instead of such like a harsh line, like I've got here, maybe doing just some shading to show that they're set. Getting the eyebrows in there. I tried to go with the they're not twins, they're sisters route, and it just didn't work for me. So they're sisters. They're twins. They're not sisters. Oh my god. Brain! They're twins. These are twins. Is anybody a twin? I've always wanted to have twins. Like if I ever have the babies. And this is, when I do the eyebrows, I just use the hairbrush, the same brush that I used on her regular hair, turned down to a smaller size, and then lots of tiny little strokes so that it looks like little hairs, little eyebrow hairs. That was me just checking the thickness of my brush and adding the line art to the shirt and the necklace, which I didn't really do much with the necklace until the very end. Kind of forgot about it. Does anybody else who draws, do they feel like their line art is just mwah, chef's kiss? And then when you go to add the color and stuff, sometimes it kind of messes it up. A lot of times I'll get my line art done and I'm like, oh my god, I love the line art. And then I have to change it. Because, I mean, we need color. Life needs color. Oh, okay. I think I went and took my dog outside. I think that's why it's just like sitting here. Oh, we're back. There we go. Okay. So this is me looking for dark elf skin tones. Because I think the description said she was a dark elf. If not, my brain was just like, yeah, man, she's a dark elf. So I went with like a deeper, richer skin tone. The dark elves, and then I was like, oh shit, she's an elf. Let's fix that. Gave her some elf ears. Gotta have elf ears. I love elf ears. If I could have elf ears in real life, like without surgery, I would do it. I actually have a really pretty like wire wrapped elf ear thing that I got from a streamer friend of mine. I'll put her up here. And they're really pretty. I want it, and I love it so much. Sometimes I just wear it around the house because it's pretty. So we're laying down the base skin tone color here. Just kind of all over. I have a tendency to like, I don't care about the lines sometimes, and then sometimes I do. Like going outside the lines. Sometimes I don't care, and I'll just throw it everywhere and erase it later. And then sometimes I'm like, maybe we should pay attention to this. And I just kind of flip-flop between the two. There is no method to madness. It is only madness. We're all mad here, and it's okay. I think this is probably the first time that I tried to do a darker skin tone. And I loved playing with the different like undertones and highlights and stuff. I really enjoyed it. Such a rich color, and I really like it. I do end up making it a little bit more red. So like we leave this color as the undertone, but I do add like some red over it because I wanted the fantasy feel of like a dark elf while still leaving it like the deep and rich skin tone. And the hair kept getting in my way, so I just turned it invisible, looked at what I needed to look at, and then turned it back on. So now we're going to color the top. And I went with like a purple color because I felt like it contrasted really well against the skin tone without it being the same color as the eyes. She's described as having aquamarine eyes. So I thought with the combination of the darker skin tone and the blue eyes that a purple would look really nice for the top. And this is just me blending out the line art on the chest area. And the reason I do that is because, you know, if with the line art there, it makes it look really, really like skin tight. Whereas if you blur it out, I feel like it makes it look more like there's something under the fabric instead of like it being like skin tight or on top. So I blended out a lot. And I actually discovered that while I was doing a commission. I accidentally blurred the line art on, I think it was like her legs, and she had like tights on. And I blended the line art on accident, and I actually ended up really liking it, and I've kind of done it ever since. Same thing with the hair. I figured the hair I used to do like block hair, where it was just like a bunch of block areas with a few like stragglers thrown in there. But on one of the commissions that I was doing, when I was sketching it, I was trying to figure out what kind of hairstyle I needed to put on it. And I ended up landing with the brush that I used here, and I just kind of sculpted it out, I guess you could say. And then I put like a darker color underneath and then some highlights on top, and I really liked how it turned out. So, and that's just me adding some fabric texture to the top. I really like using the texture things on the clothes because I don't know if you've ever tried to draw texture on like fabric or something. It is, oh my god, time consuming. Even if you like do a section and you just copy and paste it all over, that is time consuming. So when I figured out how to use the texture fill thing in Krita, it was just, oh, it was a game changer. It was amazing. So this is me filling in her eyes with that really pretty aquamarine color that I really like. And then I always do, like, I call them bubble eyes. I'm not really sure if it's a real technique or if it's like what it actually is called. I don't know. I do darker bubbles. I do like the base color under everything, and then I do the darker bubbles at the top and the bottom, and then I do lighter bubbles in the corners, and then I'll highlight everything. And that's generally how I do eyes. And also, if you're younger, I do like oval shaped eyes, but if it was like an older character, then they would be like more rounded and circular. I don't know why. I think somebody in a random YouTube video tutorial that I watched did that, and I was like, you know what? I like that. That makes sense. So I'm gonna try that. Everything that I do is just kind of, I picked this up here and I picked this up here. I am by no means the greatest, but when you look at your own art and you can like see the progress and you can see how far you've come, even if it's just a little bit, it's amazing and I love it. It's great. So, like I said before, make the bad art. Everybody's art's going to be bad to start with. Just make the bad art. And if you see one thing that you improved on in every piece, then that's a win. That is a win. Like on this piece, I really like the face a lot because I did the nostril on the nose. I didn't do just like a basic mouth. I went with like an actual mouth with like lips and stuff. So I would say that that's improvement for me anyway. And I didn't just kind of make her basic. I went with like a description. And I think I'm probably going to do more of these description videos in the future. Let me know if you guys want to see that in the comments. But that's probably going to be coming soon. We're just going to shade the eyes a little bit, above and below. Just to kind of, I was trying to get the set in there to look right. I think I do eventually actually give her some makeup, and that doesn't really come through a whole lot. So I went and had dinner, and I came back to it. Got some Sonic for dinner. I love Sonic. Don't come at me. I just really like Sonic, okay? But I came back, and I finished shading, like, under and above the eyes, which, like I said earlier, I end up adding, like, some eyeshadow and stuff, and it doesn't really, this stuff doesn't really, like, come through a whole lot, but it does help to, like, give my mind, like, a visual reminder of, you know, where some things need to go. So like that's where the eyeshadow goes, stuff like that. This is me playing around with the skin tone. I decided I wanted it to be a little bit more red because I really wanted like the fantasy aspect to come through. So I still kept the rich darker color underneath, but then I added a reddish brown kind of color on top, and then I blend it out here in a minute just a little bit. This is what I was talking about earlier, where like sometimes I don't care and then I'll come back and erase it. I don't know which would be quicker or whatever, whether it just be to pay attention to the lines when I'm doing it or just to do this step and go ahead and just erase it after. I don't know. Sometimes I do both. Sometimes, I don't know. My brain is just here. It's here in spirit. The brain doesn't brain all the time, and it's okay. We're just going to blend that red out a little bit on top of the dark color that we had already. And get rid of any kind of bleed out that we had when we blended it. What I use to blend it is like a Q-tip tool. I don't know, the icon for it in Krita is just a little Q-tip. And it's probably my favorite thing in this whole program. Is probably the Q-tip. I use it on absolutely every piece. It's very useful. I love it. And yeah. I have to like zoom in and out a lot just to kind of see what's going on. And at this point, I think I actually pulled up a tutorial to help me figure out like how should we shade the skin. I kind of kind of did it like makeup a little bit. And they said on the tutorial that like the top is a little more yellow, the bottom is a little more toward like the blue color, that kind of stuff. So I just kind of went in and tested a few different shades, tested a few different colors. It takes me a little bit to get the skin like blended where I want it. There's a couple of phases where I was like, ooh, I like this. And then I ended up going back and fixing it. So here I am using the Q-tip tool again. I love the Q-tip tool. Love it so much. One of my favorites. And I really blend, like, I blend the crap out of it. And like at this stage, it looks okay, but I really thought that she kind of looks sunburnt almost, like her cheeks were way too bright. So I do actually end up going in and making them a little darker and stuff, blending them out a little more, that kind of thing. And then I tried something here that I don't know if I like or not. And you'll see me do it again here in a little bit, where you blur your line art after the fact. And part of me is like, I kind of like it, and then part of me does not like it at all. I'm not real sure. I'm not real sure how we feel about that. I'll probably try that on a different piece, maybe with like the intention of doing that, and see where it goes. But for this one, I just decided to go with my regular style of the line art. Because, like, I don't know. Part of me is like, line art, let's not. But every time I try to do it without line art, I don't know. Something's off. It doesn't look right. I don't like it. I don't know. I thought that made it look like she had, like, saggy cheeks. So I blended it up a little bit more. And then I decided that freckles would be a good idea. Felt like she needed some freckles. And I really like the freckles. I actually ended up giving her freckles all over. Because I really like the freckles. And I thought it was a really nice like texture on the skin. So it wasn't so like porcelain flat. But I do end up actually giving her freckles all over. So adding some shading under her head, on her neck. Get rid of the bleed out. Shading around where her hair goes and the clothes and all that kind of stuff. Blending that out as well. You'll see me zoom in and out quite a lot because it helps to get a different perspective. Like if you stare at it for too long, at least for me, when I stare at it for too long, I can't see it anymore, if that makes any sense. Like if you say the same word over and over and over again, it just loses all meaning. It's the same thing for art with me. Like if I stare at it for so long, eventually I can't see it anymore. So sometimes I even have to like close the program for like 20 minutes, go get a snack, come back, and then it looks totally different to my eyes. Like here, I think what happened is I went and got a snack. Like I think I walked away from the computer and went and got a numb, and I came back. Yeah. And it looked different. And you can usually tell when I do that is because what I've stopped on and what I come back to is two totally different things. Like I was working on the shading, and then I came back and I started doing the hands. And then I tried the blurred line art thing again here. I can't really decide if I like it or not. And I decided to like trust the process a little more here, and I kind of did everything. In some places, I do like it, and it looks more like a painting, I guess. But then in other areas, it just doesn't look really good. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure if I like it or not. I'm not sure. See, looking at it now, it looks okay. Now that I'm doing the voiceover, like I'm not drawing it. This is me just staring at it and deciding if I like it or not. I don't know. I can't decide what I think is wrong with it. I'm not really 100% sure. It does look more painterly. Like it does look more like a painting. I don't know. I'm just a line art girly. I like the line art. See, okay, the face with the blurred line art looks okay to me right now. But the rest of it doesn't really look all that great. And then I was like, well, if we blur all of that out, then we're going to have to blur this out. See, I should have left it that way. I think it looks fine now that I'm not staring at it. Oh my god. You know what? I'll try it on the next piece. And this is where I decided to just Control Z everything and put the line art back. My brain decided, I don't like it. So, adding in some more freckles all over. I went ham with the freckles. If you don't know what ham means, welcome to my generation. It means I went crazy. I remember when I was in high school. Back in my day. I remember when I was in high school and like all the stuff that we used to say. We would say like, you're going ham. And that meant like you're going crazy. What was some other ones that we used to say? I don't know. Fire. That's fire. We used to say that. Like that means it's cool. Okay. That's hot shit. That's fire. Apparently that's not a thing anymore. Oh, and fleet. Like we used to say, oh my god, that's on fleet. And that meant like that's hot. That's cool. But apparently that means you're old now. So what's up, old people? Welcome. The longer I live, I'm just like, oh my god. Like when I was a kid and my parents would be like, oh my god, what are you saying? Like what is it? What do these words mean? Like, oh my god, you just don't get it. And now I'm the old person and I just don't get it. I just don't get it. The only like modern slang that I understand is Riz. And that's only because it's short for charisma. So I actually went in and then ended up making her hair a little bit more yellow because it was kind of muted before, and I was like, I want to make it a little brighter. I want to add some more personality in here. So I added a brighter yellow on top of all of what I already had. And then this is me just shading around on the shirt where the hair lays, blending that out, getting rid of all the little wispies that went into her face when I added the brighter yellow on her hair. Gonna add some highlights on her face, just a little bit, not too much. Put one on her ears, her nose, cheekbones, and kind of blended that out a little bit. Above her lip, blended it all out. Added some harsher ones on the nose and above the lip. Kept that not blended out. And then here we go. Here's me adding some eyeshadow. So I was like, you know what? She needs some eyeshadow. She needs some makeup. So I thought the green would look really good with the yellow of the hair and the blue of the eyes. And this is me adding some eyelashes. Gotta have eyelashes. Some simple little anime eyelashes. I do like to do the top and the bottom, and we have to have a cat eye. I have to. When I do my own makeup, I do a cat eye. So cat eye. And then this is actually me making a moon. I cannot freehand a crescent moon for the life of me. So I figured out that if I take two circles and I intersect them and then just kind of erase the extra, it makes a really nice crescent moon. So that's what I did here, and I added a little charm to her necklace and some moon earrings, because I feel like if her last name is Moonfall, then she would have some moon earrings and some little moon necklace. And I do think it kind of helped bring everything together. It definitely helped the silhouette of everything for her to have the earrings and everything. So I like how it fits between her face and her pigtails. I really like the way that looks. And then I just added a chain from the necklace to the pendant. I'm going to go in and add some highlights onto the moon and the earrings. Give it some shading behind it so it's obvious that it's like sitting on top. Then I added her little piercing holes, I guess, on her earlobes. And then I called my mom, because my mom has freckles, and I asked her if people with freckles have freckles on their palms, and she told me no. But I did make the palms a little lighter, because, I mean, palms are lighter than the top of your hand. So I made it a little lighter, but still in the rich red kind of color. And then I just kind of played around with some gradients for the background. Wasn't really sure what colors I needed to make it, what direction I wanted. I just kind of threw it around until I was happy with it. And then a lot of times I'll add like this square around it, but I didn't think it looked right on this one. I didn't care for it. So yeah. Then I went through and added some shading between her and the background, just so that it would help her pop off of the background a little bit. And then you just kind of go in roughly. That's what I do. I just rough it out. And then with my Q-tip tool, love my Q-tip tool, blend it out, make it a little less sharp, but it just kind of helps make sure that she's popping out from the background. And then I wanted some like glossy lips, so I went in, added some more highlights there. And then I gave it a little bit of an outline, blurred that just a little bit. And then I signed it. Decided to put it right here on her arm, make it white, pop it in there, and yeah. Took out all the reference images, and that's what we have. So I'll pop up the finished piece here, and yeah, that's her. I had a lot of fun making her, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you made it all the way here, thank you. You're amazing. I love you. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button for me. Hit the like button. Let YouTube know you liked it so that I can make more. If you want to purchase her, she is up on my DeviantArt page. Check out the DeviantArt page. Watch me on DeviantArt. I'll have that link and all of my other socials in the description below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you lovelies have a great day. Bye!